Here we are, guys. Game week prediction number 3. James, I'm proud of us. I'm not gonna lie. 3 weeks in a row, we haven't missed a week yet. We've got to keep this going.
We're only 3 weeks in, Jack.
Yeah, that's right. Let's hold it for now. But obviously, what we're going to do is just kind of reflect on last week's very quickly before we do get into this week's prediction. So, James, abysmal from you last week. Going, 3-7? I think you went last week. Not good. And I'll be honest with you, I don't have much to talk about. I went 4-6. I didn't do so well. This week, though, both of us went 5-5. Now, this wasn't all on the same games, which I thought was kind of interesting. So we both got the Villa game right, both got Arsenal. The kind of what I want to do really is just give us pats on the back for the ones that I think that maybe people would have said no way, but then we ended up getting right. I'm pretty proud of my Forest prediction. I thought Forest would win and Forest duly won, so I'm proud of that. But I think where we really need to give the credit to, because this was not low-hanging fruit at all, guys, and there were comments about this. James had Crystal Palace drawing with Liverpool, and Crystal Palace drew with Liverpool. So pats on the back there for you, James. Couple of the ones that we got wrong. Chelsea versus Spurs ended up being 2-2. We both had Spurs winning that one. Brentford, Man United. We called correctly, but that was way more of a blowout than I think you and I both thought it was going to be.
But surely, I think if you guess the team that's going to win, right? Surely that should be a win.
Oh no, yeah, we get, because it's all about the result. It's about getting the result right. Like, for example, there was like the Forest game. I had it as 3-1. They only won by a goal, but I got the result right. We're not just doing it based on correct scores, or else we would not be doing very well here at all. But my record goes up. I'm shooting 500 this week. You're shooting 500 this week. So my overall record is 9 correct, 11 incorrect. Yours is 8 correct, 12 incorrect. 9 versus 8 at the moment, James. So still all to play for going into this week. But yeah, let's get cracking. First game, Saturday lunchtime fixture, Spurs after that heated game against Chelsea, which, guys, we have reacted to. Go check that one out. Spurs versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. James, who have you got in that one, or do you want me to go first?
Okay. I'll go first. This is a hard one for me because Wolves generally, Jack, have a good record going away to Tottenham. In like 9 games in Tottenham Stadium, they won 4, lost 5, which is not bad. In recent years, like every time they've gone there, they've got a victory. I think last season they end up getting a shock victory. Now, history tells me that Wolves, and I want to say Wolves, but I don't know. That last gasp winner gave Tottenham a lot of a big boost, and again, I see them going up there. Don't see them keeping a clean sheet, but see them scoring a lot of goals. I'm going to say 3-1 Tottenham.
James, I got the exact same result. That's crazy. Yeah, I got 3-1 as well written down. Like I said to you, James, my minimum goal return, even if Spurs are playing Man City, my minimum amount of goals I'm going to put in Tottenham's score column every single week is going to be 2, because they are very fiery and threatening. You know, that Chelsea Spurs game, as much as people want to say that Chelsea definitely deserved to win, Chelsea had 3 shots on target, Spurs had 5. So again, with the kind of weapons that they have, if they can turn those shots on target into slightly better opportunities, they can start finishing. You know, again, I've always been of the opinion, I'm probably going to say this every week, this is the best attack in the league, and I think it's going to be very difficult to shut these guys out. So the plan needs to basically be, you need to try and outscore them. I don't think Wolves are going to be capable of doing that. But like you say, James, good matchup there from them from time to time. So yeah, do I think they can get a goal? Absolutely. Moving on to the 3 o'clock Saturday games. Everton are at home against Nottingham Forest. I got this one being 1-1. I do think that this striker issue with Everton is, have you got the exact same? For God's sake. Okay, well, I'll just say my bit here, and then I'll let you go. But yeah, the striker thing is a problem. If Solomon Rondon can get some good motivation and some good form and get his fitness together and all this kind of stuff, then great. You know, we may see this Everton team, you know, behave and operate differently. Lots of transfer speculation over the Anthony Gordon kid. Again, the fees being thrown around for that, for me, are still way too much based on what I've seen. But again, maybe that'll kind of put a poker in his ass as well, so that maybe he can start performing a little bit better, being more relied upon. But yeah, that forward position is a problem. And James, Forest, I think they're going to feel really big after that win. So I'm going to go 1-1.
Oh, do you know? I thought because on the Premier League fixtures it shows Crystal Palace and Villa next, but so that was my 1-1 game. Actually, I see this game being 1-0 to Everton. I feel like they
Okay.
finally get the victory that that they've been waiting for. They've lost 2, and usually after like a third game or so, after having 2 losses like that, they finally, get that victory. I see it being 1-0. I see it being a scrappy game. They get chances. They fail to score, but they finally get that goal. Forest, our team, yes, coming up, have been exciting since they've came up. Got their first win last week, but I see Everton getting their first win in the Premier League, so I have 1-0 Everton.
Signed about 100 players and spent a hell of a lot of money. So again, we'll just see how that team cohesion starts working out.
And also, they're going to sign Hassan Mawar, and that's a serious sign. And people that went under the radar. Hopefully, it comes in and makes a big splash.
I think I looked at this earlier today. I think the net spend of like or the average net spend or the total net spend, I can't remember, of all the other clubs apart from Real Madrid and Barcelona in La Liga is like 7.5 million euros. And you got a team like Nottingham Forest signing Hassan Mawar, spending over 100 million. So yeah, it's madness. Like I tweeted this earlier, the European Super League does exist. It's called the Premier League. But James, moving on, you're next up again here. Leicester City are at home against Southampton. Who have you got taking that one?
Again, Leicester came to the Emirates the other day, and offensively, they had moments. They had some decent moments there. With this Leicester team, they haven't won in their first 2 games. Again, I see them finally getting their victory here. Southampton, I'm not sure about them. They've done well to have a fantastic comeback against Leeds, but I just see Leicester finally getting a win also, and I'm going to say 2-1. 2-1 Leicester.
Yeah, I've got the exact same result.
Oh my days.
I know, dude, this is not good. We need to start separating here a little bit. But yeah, 2-1 for me as well. Look, I agree with most of the stuff you said there. Southampton, they've signed a bunch of like largely unknown players or unproven players. I'm not saying they're not talented, but saying that they're largely unproven. So there are some wild cards in there. The Wesley Fofana thing, supposedly there's been a bit of disruption there. I don't think that'll affect him as much. But again, Leicester totally lacking momentum, and Southampton really seem to me like they're preparing for Championship life. So yeah, 2-1 to Leicester on that one. Moving on to the next game, it's Fulham are at home against Brentford. James, I've got to be honest, West London football is starting to kind of like Chelsea is starting to meet some teams like hopefully here that can not match them. That's a bit of a reach, but some up and comers. The way we've seen Fulham play so far, the way that we've seen Brentford play so far, I think that hopefully Chelsea can not have to reach over to North London for some rivals. So to me, I've got 2-2 in this one. I think these are 2 very, very well matched teams, 2 teams that are playing really, really good football as well. I think this will be a really interesting game. I think there's good attacking talent on both sides of the ball. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe this will be kind of a cool West London rivalry that can revitalise the area instead of Chelsea just bossing the whole thing. So 2-2 for me in Fulham against Brentford. What have you got, James?
Interesting. This is the first time they've ever played matched up in a Premier League. So,
I did not know that.
Which is because I just looked at the head-to-head and realised they'd never played a game, and looking like Brentford, they only got promoted to the Premier League recently. Well, Fulham have been in the Premier League a few years ago. Brentford coming off a wonderful victory against Man United. You find it hard to bet against them right now, but Fulham away, they've shown against Liverpool how much of a tough team they are overall. But I'm going to say a Brentford win, 2-1.
2-1 to Brentford. Okay, I like it. James, you're up again. You got Crystal Palace are at home against Aston Villa. It's kind of an interesting little matchup here. Also, again, I know we're going to say this often, Patrick Vieira versus Steven Gerrard. What a midfield battle that is. I love that.
Yeah, it just seems to be the thing. Like, Steven Gerrard seems to have a midfield matchup every single week now.
Right.
This is a tough one. Again, Palace, they did well to ride that storm the Liverpool had in the first 20 minutes. And after that, to me, they were brilliant. Defensively. Liverpool, especially after that 25 minutes, especially second half, they didn't create as much. Yes, yes, they had the sending off, but they didn't create as much. I felt Palace probably upset that they didn't get all 3 points. Villa getting their first win, finally Gerrard probably would feel a little bit settled, less pressure.
Right.
I see this game being another stalemate. So I'm going to say 1-1.
Good. Okay, I'm glad we've got such a big difference on this one. I've got 3-2 to Crystal Palace. I think this is going to be a classic. Yeah, I really do think this is going to be a classic. These two are just incredibly well matched, I think. If this was at Villa, I feel like this would be a different game. But the fact it's at Palace, the fact that Palace have just come off that Liverpool game, right? I don't know. I feel something bubbling under the surface here. I think we might be in for an absolute classic. Watch it being 0-0 now, right? But yeah, I echo a lot of the points you said there. To me, I always mention this point about if teams are kind of both neat and tidy and they do the simple parts of the game well and all that kind of nice coach speak that we hear all the time. It's all about the difference makers and what they can do. I see difference makers on both sides of the ball. So to me, and don't get me wrong, we're not talking about the elite level of difference makers, but is Wilfried Zaha a difference maker? Absolutely. Philippe Coutinho? Absolutely. There are some guys knocking around who can pull something out that's really, really special. Me up now. I'm going to go on to Bournemouth versus Arsenal. I've got this one as 3-1 to Arsenal. I think that Arsenal are just going to continue the wave of good form. I don't think Arsenal have played a particularly difficult team yet. I mean, Palace on the first day, I think you'd say was a tricky fixture, but it's not like they were playing Liverpool at Anfield, Man City at the Etihad, or any one of these kind of bigger games, a North London derby or anything like that. So to me, I think this kind of easier run of fixtures is going to be very, very good for Arsenal's momentum, confidence, and going forward. So yeah, I expect the goals to continue coming. Maybe Jesus gets another couple goals under his belt. The only reason I've got Bournemouth scoring a goal, to be perfectly honest with you, is just, maybe a lapse in concentration at one point. It is an away game, a set piece, something like that. But yeah, for me, Arsenal winning that one 3-1. James, what do you reckon your lads are going to do?
I can't remember the last time Arsenal won the first 3 games of the Premier League, and maybe this is going to be the time. A perfect opportunity. Bournemouth, to be fair, it's been a weird fixture for Arsenal. We've seen a lot of draws. I can't remember the last time we've actually won away to Bournemouth. But I see this being a victory for Arsenal. I feel the momentum. They're really riding the momentum of pre-season, especially the new striker Gabriel Jesus, who's been absolutely sensational. Jack, I see this. I'm going to say, I hope I'm right here, 2-0 Arsenal.
2-0 to Arsenal on that one. Okay. Okay, got that in there. James, moving on to the Sunday fixtures, 2:00. For this one, you've got West Ham are at home against Brighton. What do you make of that one?
West Ham at home to Brighton. Now,
that is a tough game to call. I struggled with this one.
Interestingly enough, West Ham have actually never beaten Brighton in the Premier League, which is that's very odd.
Head to head, that's crazy.
I was like, what? But West Ham haven't won yet. Back at the London Stadium, I get it that their record against Bournemouth isn't great,
Brighton,
but I see them winning the game. I'm going to say 2-1 West Ham.
Yeah, I got the exact same thing. I think for the points you made there, West Ham, especially at home, they can't have this weird thing where they can't beat Brighton and Hove Albion. And again, I'm not trying to disrespect Brighton and Hove Albion. Graham Potter and that squad and what they're being able to do, they're making the most out of what little they have. They really, really are. But for me, maybe Gianluca Scamacca gets his first start. Maybe. I'm not so sure. West Ham in the previous game they played. Who did they play last weekend? West Ham. There was some nice moments hitting the crossbar. They looked dangerous again. I think if Gianluca Scamacca can start and be fed some chances again, I can just see them scoring. But again, Brighton are no slouches whatsoever, so I can see them being still in the game, being competitive, and certainly potentially grabbing a goal as well. Moving on to another Sunday game, Leeds United are at home against Chelsea. As much as I think it will have felt like a loss, that Spurs game. I think that Chelsea know, especially in that first half, how well they played compared to Spurs. And I think that'll make them, feel really, really good about themselves. And James, the other thing, seeing your manager go out to bat for you and fight for you like we saw Thomas Tuchel did. Yeah, yes, it's my opinion that Thomas Tuchel kind of embarrassed himself a little bit. But again, you're up against Conte, you're up against Spurs. That's not an easy matchup. And I think a lot of the players who maybe have been doubtful of Thomas Tuchel and maybe the direction where they're going with the players that have left the club, not too many players seem to be coming in. You kind of wonder if a result like that and him doing the handshake thing with Conte and the comments after the game, whether that's going to actually be a huge motivator for this team, feeling hard done by the referee and some of his poor decisions over the weekend. So to me, 2-0, clean sheet, nice clinical goals and control in the football game. I've got Chelsea winning 2-0.
I feel like yes, the poor result at the end of the Tottenham game may bring Chelsea down, but the performance was sensational from them. I feel like Thomas Tuchel he will be upset by what happened in the result, but I think he would go into that dressing room and say, guys, really, really well done by. Mm-hmm. And he'll look at it from the point of view that if we take our chances, it's a completely different story. Now, that's the biggest thing for Chelsea. Can they take their chances? Because they're going to create a lot like they did against Tottenham. Can they take it? I see this being a game where Chelsea kind of huff and puff a little bit. Yes, it's controlled, but it's one where they're waiting for a goal, and maybe they score probably a second half goal. I'm going to say 1-0 Chelsea.
1-0 to Chelsea on that one. Okay, I like it. James, you're up again. Newcastle United with the public investment fund, Saudi Arabia, right, coming into town, splashing all the money around. I think they've just made a massive bid for another player. His name escapes me now, but I think I saw that on my Twitter feed again today. James, old money or new money? Who's winning this one? Newcastle against Manchester City.
I think you need a bit of boat money in my eyes. Get boat money, really, really important. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it's the clear indication is Manchester City. I think it was interesting how Erling Haaland only touched the ball 8 times in that game. People may look at that and feel a certain type of way. Don't make this guy angry because he'll show up and score a hat-trick. I'm serious. I'm being serious here.
Whenever you pause, I get really nervous. But saying that, you paused last week and you got it right, so I don't know what to say.
I see this being a game where Newcastle really trouble this Manchester City team. Callum Wilson, he's a serious threat. If they can get that crowd into it, it will be a big thing. I see Man City dropping points. I'm going to say 1-0.
Oh my days, James! To be fair, like I say, your record.
I want to say Newcastle win. I want to say Newcastle win, but I see Manchester City nipping one. Late on.
Yeah, no, look, hey, fair enough. I respect it. I've got 3-1 Man City. I do agree with you. I think there is going to be a threat. There is going to be a serious threat from this Newcastle team. And again, we've talked about this 100 times. This is a team with momentum. They are only going up. The fan base knows something is bubbling away in the background here. They are spending the maximum that they are allowed to spend with regards to financial fair play. They're always looking to improve, always looking to be better. Got a good manager, good coach in there. It feels like they're building somewhat of a culture as a part of the football club like Newcastle really had back in the day. But again, to me, this Man City team are just an absolute colossus. And I think all it really takes for this Man City team is to score in the first 30 minutes, and then to me the game's over. The moment you start chasing a game against these Pep Guardiola teams in Manchester City, it's over. So to me,
I would love if anybody can find a stat if Manchester City, of how many games Manchester City have lost from taking the lead. I think that would be very, very interesting, because usually when they take the lead, it's curtains. And probably the first goal there might kill the whole thing. I think it's so vital to score that first goal. When you go against a Liverpool or Manchester City, that first goal is so vital.
Yeah, you need to prove that you're threatening, I think, and not just scoring a consolation, which is what I think Newcastle will get. So I've got that one being 3-1. Moving on, and this is the big one, the big storyline of the week, Monday Night Football. Jamie Carragher, Gary Neville, both in the studio, which I'm really looking forward to. Supposedly there's going to be this #empty Old Trafford thing that's going to happen, similar to what happened in Milan. You know, all the stuff coming out about the owners, the amount of money that's being taken out of the club. And, you know, Swiss Ramble on Twitter did a fantastic assessment of Manchester United and their financial accounts over the last 10, 12 years or so, which I think you should all go and find, definitely on my Twitter feed. If not, just search Swiss Ramble in Twitter. James, I got this as 4-0 to Liverpool. I don't give a damn that Darwin Nunez isn't playing. I think that regardless of who plays for this Liverpool team, they're going to be able to still embarrass this club. What I will say is this is the one thing that scares me. If for whatever reason this Manchester United team come out fighting and firing, this is a Liverpool team on the back foot, James. It is. So could this be the game that kickstarts Manchester United's season? It's at Old Trafford. We don't know what's going to happen with the protest, but this is a wounded Liverpool team. This is not beating Fulham and beating Palace and ready to feast on Manchester United. No, this is draw against a team they should beat, draw against a team they should beat. One of their players and their record signing gets sent off and isn't even available for this game. So again, I don't know what we're going to get. I don't feel very strongly about 4-0 Liverpool. That's just what I'm going with. If Manchester United equally, I think, won this game like 3-0, James, I don't know if I'd be massively, massively surprised. It just depends which team comes out to play. I don't know what you've got on this one, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah. I agree with you. I would not be surprised if Manchester United show up and beat Liverpool. Why? Because it all makes sense. They've lost their 2 games. It's disarray. They're now going against their biggest rivals. Could they come together and show fight and win the game? That would not be a surprise to me. But it wouldn't be a surprise to me. You mentioned 4-0. I think that's flattering Manchester United, Jack. I won't be surprised if it's 6 or 7-0.
7, right?
I'm being Jack and I'm being deadly serious about this. Like, if Liverpool put their foot on the throat, because if we thought Manchester United were bad last season, I don't even want to see. And Liverpool won 5-0. They could do even more damage this season. Right. And obviously with the fans, so it doesn't help. But I'm gonna say Manchester United are gonna come together.
Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna say they have to, at some point it has to make sense, Jack. At some point it has to click. And I'm not saying that they're gonna challenge for anything, but they have to perform on the field. And if Erik ten Hag can't get a reaction in this sort of game, then this whole team, not him, needs to go. The whole team needs to go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know. So I'm gonna say Manchester United are gonna win this game 2-1.
2-1. My goodness. Well, guys, like I say, especially
2-1. With a slash there could be 7-0 Liverpool.
Oh, James,
it really is one of them ones.
I was just about to say, anybody willing to bet on this football match, you are crazy. Go bet on more stable football teams, okay? Manchester United could be playing anybody. Keep your money in your pocket. But like I say, with Liverpool at the moment, no one knows what's going to happen with them. So to me, at this point, you have 2 teams that you do not know what you're going to get from. So keep your money in your pocket for that Monday night football game, no matter how tempting it might be. Everybody, James is still only behind by 1 game. And if he'd have made a couple of teensy little goal change decisions over the last week, we'd be level. In the same way, if I'd have been a little bit more brave, maybe I could have extended my lead. It's still all to play for. It's still super, super close. And James, I'll be honest with you, I think 5-5, 6-4 every week is like a nice average, but I think a good week for you and me is going to be hovering around the 7-3 mark. That's my assessment or my guess. I don't know how you feel about that.
It's the Premier League, man. Anything can happen. Generally, anything can happen.
Yep. And on that note, James and I are the ones who are putting our necks out there just to be attacked a little bit here. And like I said, when we get it right, we're going to give ourselves a pat on the back. But while you're here, guys, while you're watching, if you've made it to the end of the video, we really, really appreciate that. Drop a like on the video. Whilst you're down there dropping a like on the video, please make sure that you're subscribed. Sometimes the algorithm can give you our videos, but you might not be subscribed. So do go down there and check that. Ring the bell as well if you do want notifications from us to know when we're posting. We're going to try and keep this up all 38 game weeks, but I'm not holding my breath. James, anything else from you, mate?
Guys, hit that like, share and subscribe button and put down your predictions down below. This is Box to Box Football and we will see you next time.